Didn't mean to interrupt you. Hey, folks, just starting off our open hour on the Google Summer of Code and Rails Girl Summer of Code programs. And I rudely interrupted Ujwal, who's introducing his project and himself.
So, hello everyone, I'm Ujwal, and this time around I built the Bot for Public Lab project for Google Summer of Code. And basically what the project was about was to actually improve the chatting experience on our various channels. The thing is that in our day-to-day activities, a lot of stuff that we do as a community and a lot of the things that different responsible people do, like Jeffrey, for instance, can be automated using a bot. So we've been actually, like, in this phase of 3 months, we've pretty much worked out on all the possibilities, and I think there are a lot more in store, but we've got a great idea of what we could build. And honestly, we're just getting started. But we've been around building features that could, for instance, help people spot first-timers only issues. So if you were a first-time contributor, let's say, on a project, you didn't need to be directed to the intimidating GitHub page, for instance. You could just type in FTO on the chat room, and the bot would recognize this and help you out by giving you the names and links for all the new first-timers only issues. Similarly, we've been working on the chat ops side of things recently, basically automating a lot of stuff that Sebastian, our sysadmin, does. So we'd built a few features in which the bot could get the different temperatures, the CPU temperatures, or the hard drive temperatures, I think, and then could report them on the chat room so that it would be easier for regular people to just check the status of the servers. And usually it's a rather tedious process of actually SSHing into the server and then doing the required stuff. So
yeah, thank you. It's a really neat one, and I think you have had this testing channel available for people to try out, which testing chat room. Hey, actually, Stella Maris has joined, which is great. We can hear you. How are you doing? We also saw video there. If you're having connectivity issues, you might turn the video off, but can you hear us? I am going to mute Stella Maris for the moment until we get a response back on chat. But Stella Maris, if you can hear us, we can hear you, and we'd love to hear from you. And here's Chinmay. Great. Cool. Chinmay, I know you're having some pretty slow internet issues, but if you, I don't see your audio connected up, but if you do manage to get connected, please chime in.
Yeah, I was able to get connected. Hello.
Oh, hey. Good to hear your voice. Stella Maris, can you hear us?
Yes, I can.
Oh, great. It's great to hear your voice. Stella Maris, do you think you'd, as you've just joined us, be able to introduce your project briefly? We're just going around and hearing from each of the students.
Please give me a minute.
Oh, sure. Yeah. Chinmay, were you interested? Not to put you on the spot too, since you've just joined.
Okay.
Well, I can I know the internet connectivity is not great, so I can briefly introduce those projects as well. I'll start with Chimney's, but please jump in if you're able to get a good audio connection. Chimney worked on this project called Image Sequencer, which is a really exciting project that is actually separate from the main public lab website. And what it does is you can drag an image onto a web page, and then you can perform a series of like image processing steps on that image. So, for example, it might be relevant to the dust pollution project that we're working on, the particulate matter project, where you can take a picture of dust and, for example, threshold that image to make it stark black and white. Run additional analysis steps on the images. And the neat thing about it is it's designed as a kind. Oh, hey, Chinmay, feel free to just type into the chat and we'll read it aloud as well. It's sort of based on like a storyboard where each image processing step doesn't destroy the image; it adds a new image. So you can see each step that was performed on the image and see the overall workflow. And then you can drag more images in, and those images will also go through the same workflow. Chinmay, did you want to add anything to that? Jimmy says it wouldn't have been possible without you guys' help. Oh, go ahead.
Yeah.
Chinmay, you're sounding like a robot.
I'm not sure if my audio connection is really well. So, yeah.
Sorry, I'm actually trying to. I'm trying to mute you. I apologize. I know it's rude. I'm actually not able to mute you, which I apologize for, but we can't hear what you're saying, so I can just read it out loud if you want to type it in. I'm sorry. I know it's frustrating. Yeah, feel free to type it in. I'll read it out loud. Stella Maris, did you want to jump in now and talk about your project? If you're not ready, or if you want to type stuff in and I can read it out loud, that's also fine. I'll just add that Chinmay and I are working on a blog post to introduce his project, partially because we think that because it's more general purpose, it may be really interesting to other communities out there doing image processing, and that we might get a large number of people picking this up and doing something with it that would benefit Public Lab as a community project itself. So that's something we're working on. And I think that's also something that we can do with some of the other projects. Mridul Nagpal, who is not here, worked on a project which is very, very key to Public Lab's website, but also has applications other places. So what he did in the Geographic Systems project that he worked on was he made a way to enter a location. Say if you publish, about a project you're working on, or you want to show where you are, but you don't want to show exactly. So it's a way to manage your locational privacy. And what it does is, instead of exposing your exact coordinates, it gives you a map, and you can zoom the map in and out, and it will sort of blur your location, and it will blur it in differing amounts. So you could expose, for example, generally what neighborhood you're in, generally what city you're in, what state you're in. It doesn't actually fit to exactly states, cities, countries. It works on a different system, but the idea was to create a very simple interface so that people could very quickly adjust the amount of blur on their location, and also see what other people will see when they once they share that. So that project is actually almost live on the Public Lab site, and we hope, I think, in the next couple of weeks to be beta testing it with lots of people. I'll share actually the link to that one. There's a demo where you can't save the location, but you can try out the interface. All right, I'll paste that into the chat notes here. And Chimney also has let me just put names here. And then Chimney also has a demo that can be tried out online. I think we should probably just get everyone's demos pasted in here. But if you go into the notes that I linked to, there are demo links on each one of those as well. Stella Maris, are you able to hear us now? If you wanted to go ahead and intro yourself and your project, now's a good time.
Hi everyone.
Hey.
Can you hear me?
Yep, we can hear you loud and clear.
Okay, my name is Stella. I'm in Kenya, Nairobi. I've been working on email notification overhaul. So the program was, my work task was divided into two. There was the email notification without scheduling and with scheduling. So I managed to do the email notifications without scheduling. And on the email notification without scheduling, what I worked on was emailing users who don't follow certain tags. So I'm going to demonstrate it using an example. So in a node, I was checking all the tags that are in a node, and then I check all the users who are following those tags in that node. And then for a tag that is being added, I check the users who are in that tag being added and are not following the node that are the tags that are existing in that node. And then I email those users who are not following the tags in that node of a new tag that has been added in a node. That is what I was doing in a nutshell.
Yeah, and it was a real brain bender. I think I remember one moment where Liz looked at some of Stella Maris's work and said that her head hurt just thinking about it, because it was like, I mean, you imagine, let's say someone posts something and it's tagged with oil as a tag, and then you follow the tag oil, and then someone else comes along and tags that same post with pollution, and you also follow the tag pollution. Stella's job is to make sure that two notifications don't get sent, which requires actually like a lot of just really careful testing and thinking through all of the possible scenarios. So I commend you, Stella, for the patience and attention to detail on that. And I've been getting a lot of updates through the new system that I wouldn't otherwise have gotten, because previously, if you added a tag after the node is published, no additional notifications were sent, because we were afraid that a million notifications would get sent due to this issue.
Okay.
In fact, Stella, I think we even had someone email in saying that it was working too well and asking if we can come up with an unsubscribe feature. So that's a mark of success, actually. But it means that the system we created is now actually reaching like a huge number of other people, which is great. But maybe we'll make a new issue for that for over the next few months.
Thank you. I'm now looking at RSS so that I can know how it works. Then I implement the next stage.
Oh, that's great. Yeah. Yeah, there's a couple RSS feeds on the site already, but they're pretty disorganized. And yeah, it'll be neat to see.
Okay.
Great. So I think we've introduced everybody except for Ashan, who is also not able to be here.
You've got Ujwal Sharma online.
That's Raza Kukin. Ujwal presented the bot project at the beginning of the call. Yeah, we have, sometimes we have issues because people's online alias is different than their name, and then it's hard to keep track. Does anyone want to present Ashan's work? I can, but I know one thing that was great about this summer is that all the students were helping each other out. No pressure. Come on, Ujwal, I know you can do it. I guess not. Yeah, you could try. All right, go for it. Okay, we'll give you a minute. Yeah, and then I just want to highlight Shelby and Lillian's project from the Rails Girls Summer of Code. And they worked on basically, to give some context, any public lab page can have tags, like on many websites across the internet. But on Public Lab, some of the tags don't just give context or sort of topical reference to the material, they actually add features, which is kind of weird. We call those power tags. So you can, what's a good example? A simple one is that if you want to show that you've co-authored a post with someone else, which we don't have a really deeply plumbed system for, you can use a power tag. And the power tag is just the word with, and a colon, and then the username of the other person. And you can add like a bunch of other authors, and then they will all get equal credit for the work, which is really neat. But you have to know the exact syntax of these power tags. And you can do lots of interesting and powerful things with power tags, but it's not very friendly because you have to know the exact lettering. And then Lillian and Shelby worked on a menu, which is actually live on the site, but it's hidden because they wanted to try it out before, they wanted to make sure everything looks good and really works well before launching it for everybody. But it's funny, we worked together on this and came up with a secret tag you can put, or like a word you can add to the URL, and the word is actually Harry Potter. So, because it was supposed to be something that is not impossible to guess, but is, prevents everyday viewers from viewing it. So if you add Harry Potter to the end of any page on Public Lab in an exact formatting, then this new menu is exposed. And the menu guides you through adding power tags with a user interface and a graphical interface that prompts you and gives you helpful tips. So it's really neat, and the final version will be revealed without the secret Harry Potter flag, I think within the week. Ujwal, you can go ahead, although it looks like you're actually greeting a new person in the chat room as we speak.
Yeah, I am.
Which is exciting.
It is. A lot of people show up on the testing chat room, which is actually fun because nobody joins the testing chat room unless they're playing with the bot. So it's actually, it means that someone has actually started to get some interest in the bot project, which is nice.
Oh, that's a good point. And actually that lets us track how many people have joined or have read about the bot, because I see actually people joining there quite often.
That's great. So about Ashan's project, actually, as Jeff said, it's a major part in making this year's GSOC. I don't know how it scaled up for you guys compared to the other years, but it was definitely a great year for us because the kind of bonding we had between the students was actually really good, and at times we'd all help each other out and have fun sort of stuff. So what Ashan did was actually he worked on the Wiki Discussions project, in which we tried to bring some more interactivity into Wiki. It was I actually didn't get much insight into the project during the summer, but I actually checked it out before the Google Summer of Code, and it felt to me a lot like, the kind of reviewing functionality and commenting functionality that Google Docs sometimes give you. That, there's a wiki page out there, and you could point out certain stuff. Maybe you could recommend that particular line for people, or you could make some annotations, or maybe review it or suggest some changes. So that's actually really exciting, because that actually like spells life into the wiki pages. You could actually see them changing and people commenting about them, and actually the interested people getting involved. So that's actually good. I mean, I can imagine that before this had come into place, only a few selected members of the community must have actually been into the actual editing and creation of wiki pages. But now I don't have to actually edit a wiki page. I can maybe add a comment so that Liz can get to hear what I wanted to say about some specific thing. And that was, in my opinion, much better option than just going ahead and making an edit. I could suggest changes, and the whole community could just check it out and take a look.
Yeah, it was a pretty neat project, and some portions of it are already live. We have another section of it that we're in final testing for. It's a pretty serious, kind of like complex project, because if you can imagine leaving a comment, this happens in Google Docs as well. If you leave a comment on one paragraph, and the way we store that comment is that we store the highlighted text, and then let's say someone goes in and changes that highlighted text, then how does the web page know to what paragraph that comment is applied? And we could fall back and just say, well, it just gets added to the bottom of the page without reference to a specific paragraph. Or we could try to do some sort of similarity matching to find what but it just gets complicated very fast. And so I think it was really neat that Ashan took that on, because I think a lot of times there are big pages that people want to leave the comments on, but it's pretty tough to say, hey, scroll 12 paragraphs down on line 3. I think that should be capitalized. And we're not as big as Google, so we don't have the ability to make such a complex system as Google Docs, but I think it's a pretty good attempt, and it will be helpful. Did someone else just join?
Hello. Hello.
Yeah. Hi. This is who's on the line? Welcome.
Yeah. Hi, this is Chimney here. Actually, I had a bad internet connection, so I'm on ISE.
Oh, wow. And it's great to hear your voice. I already introed your project a bit, but if you want to give an introduction as well and sort of build on that, that'd be great.
Yeah, I heard your introduction. That was really great of you. Thanks a lot. I think you covered almost everything. Just wanted to say hi and hear your views, so we'll join in.
Yeah, it's really neat to see your project come to life, and I think some of the things we thought of at the beginning as nice to have extra sub projects actually came to life. Like there's the command line version of your program, and other things like that.
Yeah, okay.
Did you or anyone else want to comment on some of the collaborative systems that we tried to work on over the summer? Like, I mean, in terms of being a team?
Sorry, I'm not able to get your question.
I guess if this is your first summer with Summer of Code, or your first summer with Public Lab, you don't have a basis for comparison. But in terms of how we asked all the students to write a first-timer only issue, I know you've had a lot of success with that.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, right. I was actually surprised with the success of first-timer issues. Like, after writing the first two first-timer issues, like they were kind of resolved or claimed in within 20 hours or so. So that was really surprising. Like I didn't know people were following it or whatever it was, maybe from NPM or somewhere else. But then, yeah, it was really surprising and it was great. So it actually inspired me and encouraged me to write more issues and get the community involved. It was a really nice thing.
Stella Maris, I don't know if you can talk right now, but you also have written one or I think at least two first-timer only issues. Was that an exciting experience as well?
Yeah, it was exciting, especially seeing someone contributing to it.
Yeah, it's neat when someone picks it up and begins asking you questions, but I know it can also be a little stressful because they come in at some random time of the day or night, and then you feel like you have to be like, oh, we're here for you.
Yeah.
Yeah, that was really great though. All right, well, we have about 9 minutes left. We don't have to go all the way to the end, but if other folks have questions or comments you want to make?
I have a comment.
Please.
Yeah, probably as you saw on Twitter, we started Rails Girls on Saturday. It is an initiative to help young ladies learn how to code. In the first event, we had 11 attendees, and we hope the number will grow. And so far, they are consistent. They're asking lots of questions, and it's really exciting.
That's great. Can you type that Twitter account in so we can add it to the notes and draw some attention to it? In the chat
Twitter,
or the notes, whichever you like.
it's at Stella Maris, but I can just type it.
Oh, great. Yeah, I think I saw some of your posts on there. That's super.
Yeah. I've typed it on the chat.
Super. Super. Other folks? Any ideas or questions you have? Things you'd like to do next? Well, I want to say in the past, we've had students come back for a second year, and we had a really great time with all of you this summer. And we'd encourage you to apply again if you're still a student the coming summer. It's always great to work with students again because, of course, you're that much further ahead in knowing how to use our code and how to collaborate with our group. We've also, when people have the time or ability, worked with folks throughout the year. I know that Riddle actually started working with us, I want to say in like January or February, probably with the intention of joining the Summer of Code team, but really plugged away at projects through the what is the winter for us here at least. Yeah, so we encourage you to stay involved if you can, and if you have things that you would like to do but you don't have the capacity over the next few months, tell us and we can help you get that broken down so that other people can pick up those pieces and pick up where you left off. And also, even if you're not a student in the coming year, you might have noticed that Ujaitha and Ananyo are alumni who joined as mentors. There's some additional perks to being a mentor, such as potentially joining the Summer of Code Mentor Summit, which I think we weren't able to get anyone out to this year, but if we plan ahead, I think it is a possibility, and Google does provide some travel funding for that. Thanks again to everybody. Stevie, did you want to chime in? I know you've been involved a bit over the summer.
Yeah, I think it's been really exciting to see the projects go, and it's really great when it's not just students involved but bringing in new people. So that's been really, really neat. I guess I would just wonder if there's anything from the student side that you would do differently next year, or you would want to see happen differently from Public Lab and engaging in the community and on the projects?
Don't hold back. Everyone's just too polite. Well, you can send it in by email if you like as well. Ujjwal says he thinks this year was pretty awesome as it was. Yeah, I think so too. I think we can always improve. I think one thing that we're going to try to get better at is being responsive to people's issues as they happen. I know that sometimes people will get stuck for a day or two or even 3 days, without getting help on a particular issue. And often I feel like there's people in the team. We had such a big team this year. I think total, including mentors, students, coaches, et cetera, it was like 17 people. And I think if we get better at putting out, like a bat signal to people to call in assistance, when you get stuck, then that can often be really helpful. Cool. Well, yeah, definitely. We love feedback, positive and even negative, because it's really important for us to know where things aren't working. So don't feel like you need to be shy in writing in with that. And we just love to hear from you all in general.
Yeah, and I guess as well, just in terms of keeping in touch and the line open, on Tuesdays, we also do the open call, which doesn't have a topic, but if you just want to ping in and share a Zoom space or a phone call again with other people outside of the very active chat room, then that's definitely available too, and we'd love to keep in touch and hear how everything's going. Thank you.
All right, well, thanks, folks. Bat signal. Ujjwal, you want to do a project called Bat Signal?
Thanks, Jeff.
Ujjwal, you were saying? I didn't mean to interrupt you, sorry.
Yeah, I just wanted to say that it was great contributing to Public Lab. I'll keep contributing, and we'll be looking forward to the next OpenHour. So see you guys next month.
All right, thanks everybody. Have a great day.
Bye.